My name is Emma Hartley. I turned 18 the day everything I believed about family burned to ashes. For most of my life, I thought I was the lucky one. A stepmom who smiled too brightly, a dad who worked too hard, and a small town where everyone knew everyone's secrets, except mine. When my mother passed away, I was 8. Dad remarried quickly to a woman named Clara. She smelled like lilacs and carried herself like she'd never known pain. I wanted to love her. I really did. But something in her eyes, something cold, always stopped me. Still, we learned to coexist. She cooked, I studied, and Dad believed we were happy. He was wrong. Clara loved control more than she loved anyone. She decided which friends were good enough, which clothes were appropriate, and which dreams were realistic. When I talked about art school, she said, "Artists starve, Emma." Your mother would have wanted better, I never corrected her. My mother would have wanted me to paint. The day the letter came, it was raining. The heavy kind of rain that feels like punishment. Dad had passed away 6 months earlier, leaving the house quiet, except for Clara's heels on hardwood floors. I'd just finished high school, packing for college, when the mail arrived. A thick cream envelope. My name handwritten in my father's neat cursive. The return address, Hartley and Company. Legal. Clara saw it before I did. She froze, eyes darting, and then smiled, too fast. "Just bills," she said, sliding it toward the counter. But I'd already seen the word inheritance. That night I searched for it. The letter was gone. When I asked Clara, she shrugged. "It must have gotten lost, sweetheart. Your father didn't have much anyway." Her words hit like glass in my chest. Dad had promised I'd be taken care of. He'd said, "When you turn 18, Em, everything I built will finally be yours." Weeks passed. I started my part-time job at a diner, saving every dollar. Clara spent her evenings in the study, the door locked. Sometimes I'd hear drawers opening, paper tearing, then silence. One night I couldn't stand it anymore. I crept downstairs. The study door was slightly open. Clara stood by the fireplace holding a letter, my father's handwriting. Flames flickered. She dropped it in. I gasped, too loudly. She turned, eyes wide with something between fear and fury. "You shouldn't have seen that," she whispered. I ran to my room. For days we didn't speak. College orientation was 2 weeks away. I needed closure, or proof. So I called Dad's lawyer, pretending to confirm a scholarship form. He hesitated, then said, "Emma, your father's last will was mailed to your address months ago. You should have received your inheritance by now. I felt the air leave my lungs." He continued, "Your father left everything to you. The house, the savings, the studio. I'm surprised Clara hasn't arranged the transfer." The world tilted. Clara hadn't just hidden the truth. She'd stolen it. That night, I searched every drawer, every closet. Nothing. Until I found Grandma's old Bible, tucked behind Clara's jewelry box. The leather cover was cracked. Inside, between the thin pages of Psalms, was a folded paper. Dad's handwriting again. My name. My future. The letter read, "Emma, if you're reading this, you're stronger than I imagined. I know you'll face people who smile to hide their lies. Don't lose faith in kindness, even when the cruel ones win for a while. What I built is yours, but remember, money fades. Love, truth, and forgiveness, that's the real inheritance." Tears blurred the ink. For a long time, I just sat there, holding the words that felt like a heartbeat. When Clara found me with the Bible open, she went pale. "Where did you get that?" "Where you hid it," I said. She laughed, hollow, sharp. "You think that letter changes anything? The bank accounts are already mine." Maybe she was right. Maybe the money was gone. But something inside me shifted. The fear that kept me small cracked open. The next morning, I went to the lawyer's office with the letter. He confirmed the handwriting. Legally, the will was valid. Clara's actions weren't. The process would take time, months maybe, but truth had finally found a voice. When I returned home, the house felt different, lighter. Even the walls seemed to breathe again. Clara wasn't there. Just a note on the counter. I only did what I had to. One day, you'll understand for the first time I didn't feel anger. I felt sad, because maybe she wasn't just greedy. Maybe she was afraid of losing, of being nothing again. That night, I sat in Dad's old studio. Dust covered his paints, his unfinished canvas. I dipped a brush into faded blue and began to paint. Not him, not Clara, but the feeling of finally being free. Each stroke was forgiveness and color. Each tear that fell was hope. I didn't know what part 2 of my life would look like. But for the first time, I wasn't afraid to find out. Because sometimes, the things that are taken from us are only making space for what's meant to arrive. And somewhere beyond the silence, I swear I heard Dad whisper, "You found it, Em. You finally found it." After Clara left, silence became my closest friend. Days melted into each other. The house creaked at night like it was remembering everything it had witnessed. Every lie, every secret, every whisper that never reached my ears. I thought peace would come once she was gone. But peace, I learned, is quieter than I expected, and much lonelier. The lawyer told me the case would take months. Until then, I was technically under investigation for inheritance disputes. Funny how truth always has to prove itself. Still, I stayed, in the house my father built, in the echo of what used to be love. One morning, a knock came at the door. A woman stood there, early 40s, kind eyes, holding a box wrapped in faded brown paper. "You must be Emma Hartley," she said softly. I knew your father." Her name was Margaret Cole. She'd been Dad's accountant. "He asked me to deliver this to you," she continued, "but your stepmother insisted it wasn't necessary. I should have listened to my gut." She handed me the box and left before I could say thank you. Inside were sketches, my father's, landscapes, portraits, and one unfinished painting of me when I was maybe 10. Underneath it all lay another envelope. My hands shook. Dad's handwriting again. This one said simply, "For when you're ready." I hesitated for days before opening it. When I finally did, it wasn't a letter. It was a key. Small, brass, cold against my palm, and a note. "Studio. Bottom drawer. Behind the canvas." My heart raced as I walked into the studio. Dust floated like ghosts in sunlight. I moved the canvas, knelt, and found the drawer. The key fit perfectly. Inside, a small notebook and a USB drive. The first page of the notebook read, "If something happens to me and Clara is still here, watch this." My breath caught. I plugged the drive into Dad's old computer. The screen flickered. A video opened. Dad sat at his desk, tired but smiling, that familiar warmth in his eyes. "Hey, Em. If you're seeing this, I probably didn't get to explain everything. Clara, she wasn't always who she is now." He paused, looking down. "When I met her, she'd lost everything, her family, her savings. She promised she'd change, and for a while I believed her. But after your mother's passing, she started hiding things. Money, papers, even letters meant for you. I tried to stop her." He sighed. "If she burned what I left you, don't hate her. She's been broken longer than you've been alive. I loved her once. I just hope one day you'll forgive her too." The video ended. I sat there, frozen. Forgive her? After everything? For days I couldn't sleep. His words looped in my mind. Maybe that's what forgiveness is. Not forgetting, but choosing peace over proof. Still, something about the video felt incomplete. I opened the notebook. Inside were notes about a trust fund, bank accounts, and a name. Evelyn Ross, a woman in Ohio. I searched online, found her obituary. She'd passed 5 years ago. Her listed next of kin, Clara Ross. My chest tightened. Clara wasn't her real name. She'd changed it, hidden her past. I called Margaret, Dad's accountant, and told her everything. She sounded stunned. Emma, that changes everything. If she forged documents under a false identity, the case could reopen under fraud. You could get everything back. But I didn't feel victory. I felt sorrow. Because every layer of Clara I uncovered made her less of a villain and more of a wounded human. That night, I wrote her an email. Simple words. I found the letter. I know the truth. I'm not angry anymore. Wherever you are, I hope you find peace. I didn't expect a reply, but 2 days later, one came. Emma, I can't undo what I did. I thought taking control would make me feel safe. It didn't. I never hated you. I envied how your father looked at you, like you were his whole world. I wanted to feel that once in my life. I'm sorry. Clara. I read it 5 times, then deleted it. Not out of hate, out of closure. Weeks turned into months. The case closed in my favor. The house, savings, and art studio were all mine now. But instead of joy, I felt an ache. The kind that comes from realizing justice doesn't heal loneliness. One evening, I found myself standing by the fireplace, the same one Clara had used to burn my father's letter. This time, I lit a fire of my own, not to destroy, but to release. I tossed in the notebook, the legal documents, the lies that bound us. The flames danced gently, not angry, just alive. I whispered, I forgive you, Dad. I forgive her, and maybe one day I'll forgive myself too. Spring arrived early that year. The house no longer felt haunted. It felt human again. I opened the windows, painted the walls, started selling Dad's artwork online. People loved them, his colors, his messages. Each sale helped fund my dream, art school. Before I left, I took one last walk through the garden. Under the oak tree, I buried the brass key, the one that had opened the truth. I didn't need it anymore. At the airport, as I waited for my flight to New York, I saw an older woman sitting across the terminal, gray hair, gentle eyes, something about her posture, familiar. She smiled at me. I smiled back. And for a moment I thought, maybe that's her. Maybe Clara found her way home too. But I didn't go over. Some stories end not with confrontation, but with quiet acceptance. When the plane took off, I looked out the window, clouds glowing gold in the sun. For the first time since my father died, I didn't feel like a victim of loss. I felt like a survivor of love, because forgiveness isn't a gift we give to others. It's the freedom we finally give ourselves. And as the clouds parted, I heard that same whisper again. Calm, certain, eternal. You found it, Em. You finally found it. When she finally looked in the mirror, she didn't see the girl who was broken anymore. She saw someone who had survived. The pain hadn't vanished. The memories were still there, sharp and heavy. But now, they no longer controlled her. She learned to forgive. Not because they deserved it, but because she deserved peace. She stopped waiting for apologies, stopped replaying the past. She whispered, maybe it's okay that it happened. Maybe I'm still becoming every scar became a map, each one leading her closer to who she was meant to be. And for the first time in years, she smiled. Not because life was perfect, but because she was still here. Music swells, soft violin plus hopeful tone. Sometimes redemption isn't found in others. It's found in the quiet moments, when you finally forgive yourself for not being stronger sooner, and that's when healing truly begins.